This could be two and the game. Dickinson, Milam, and that's it. Tiger Town is Title Town again as the boys bring the 8th World Series title back to the Bayou.
And we say a happy, pleasant Tuesday morning to you, June the 24th, here in the capital city of Baton Rouge. Buddy Songy back in the house with JP, Jonathan Poche, Marty Campbell behind the camera, and as always, hoping that all of you are doing well. 2 days removed from the Tigers winning their 8th national championship in college baseball in Omaha. It was Baton Rouge North. It was total takeover. And, folks, we always talk about man-defined meats where we're, of course, Louisiana-owned, Louisiana Spice, Louisiana Taste. How about it? I fed that Coastal Carolina team some Manda hot sausage. And JP, welcome to the program. Good to be with you and Marty. Tigers roar. Little did we know that we'd be talking about another natty, but holy cow, JP, great baseball weekend. Tigers go 5-0, unblemished through the bracket in Omaha to take down Coastal Carolina. They had previously had a 26-game win streak, but the coach was roided up a little bit and just out of control as we've got a lot of spicy tidbits. But, JP, great to see you and Marty, and as always, great to be recapping another national championship in baseball, the second in the past 3 years, JP.
Yeah, Bud, man, a huge tip of the cap to Coach Jay Johnson, those LSU baseball Tigers. Also, a lot of respect for the Coastal Carolina program. They weren't Cinderellas this time. A 26-game win streak. Obviously, that's a phenomenal year. They had 56 wins on a season, but LSU, the best team in college baseball. Emphasis on team, such an unselfish group. The attitude certainly reflected on the leadership. And I can't say enough about the character of this team, the way they were so unselfish, sharing playing time, at-bats, you name it. It was truly a team-over-me mentality. So it's over. LSU now takes home their 8th title to Baton Rouge. There was a lot of LSU fans there for the final series. Obviously, 53 plus 1,000 Jell-O shots were sold at Rocco's. A lot of purple and gold flair out there. So it was a great experience. I truly feel blessed, Bud, man, not only to have LSU represent the state. I get to have my children, my young sons, watch this team and see what true unselfishness looks like. And there were stars up and down the lineup. I thought LSU had the best pitching staff in the country, and they certainly came through going 5-0 in Omaha. Can't say enough about the job that Nate Yeske has done in the past couple seasons, really developing these young guys into professional league pitchers. And Chase Shores, Anthony Ianson, Kate Anderson, can't say enough about the job they did in Omaha. And it starts with pitching strikes and hitting strikes, and LSU is playing great at the right time, Bud, man.
Of course, JP is a coach in his own right. He's coaching the younger kids, and folks, life goes by so fast. It is unbelievable that here we are talking about the brackets. And, it was so weird, JP. LSU comes in preseason 1 or 2 across the country. We know preseason polls don't mean anything. The final couple of polls, they were number 1. I think the last 3 polls, they were number 1. But yet, when the NCAA committee looked at RPI, strength of schedule, head-on-head matchups, the Tigers come in at number 6. I thought they should have been a 4 in place of Auburn, who probably should have been a 6. That being said, Arkansas a 3, LSU a 6. They ended up matching up in Omaha. There's some questions, and we posed this question last time we did a show. Should you reseed once you get to Omaha? That has not been in the cards, but that all being said, JP, so many stories. We start off talking about Jay Johnson, second natty in 3 years. Everybody knows he's the first coach to win 2 national championships at a school in 4 years. JP, he just checks all the right boxes. Incredible analytics, incredible recruiter, incredible work ethic. But here's the thing, and we all have comparisons to a younger Nick Saban. Nick Saban was 49 years old when he's the coach at LSU starting. Jay Johnson's 48 right now. And lo and behold, he's already got 2 natties. But he's a happier guy. He's more a likable guy. But attention to detail. Back to Coach Yeske. Look, he did a great job of mixing up pitches. For a while there earlier in the season, he was just trying to get guys to throw fastballs over the plate for strikes. They had that game against Little Rock, where you had 10, 11 walks and 3 hit batters. Can't play like that. Peaked at the right time, JP. These coaches get upset. But look at it, folks. 6 consecutive wins by an SEC team. And Mississippi State picked at the right time. Ole Miss peaked at the right time.
Yep.
Tennessee obviously was really good last year and the best team, and they won it. But LSU peaking at the right time, and all those boxes that we were worried about. Runners in scoring position, bullpen, making the right decisions with starting pitches. Nobody's even talking about the fact that we didn't know what he was going to do in Game 3, and he pulls Zach Cowan out to go 5 in the 3rd inning. So great tribute to coaches and players. Oh, by the way, celebration tomorrow night at the box. 8 o'clock official start, 7 o'clock gates open. JP, I think they're doing that because, as we know, with this heat and humidity, you're hoping that you don't, if you start at 7, you got sun-drenched crowd. But 7 o'clock gates open. Once again, 8 o'clock, the festivities start, and that will be for about an hour, and it is grace to I didn't think they would get it done. I'm not going to sit here and say that I thought LSU would win a national championship. And, you know, here's the case. My last comment this year about umpiring, I was freaking out, JP, because Jeff Head was the guy at first base who let the ball hit him in that first game, and that's because Milam didn't get an extra base or 2 and score that run. I don't know if they took him off or what not, but I was worried that because the progression is you go from first base to being the home plate ump. I don't know if they sat him down or not, but they replaced the head case, Jeff Head, with an angel by the name of Angel Campos, and the rest is history, JP.
Yeah, but man, and truly, it's kind of a shame for LSU. Obviously, the Super Regional win against Arkansas was it was a free play. Ball goes off the left fielder's shoulder, and everybody's kind of talking about, man, really feel bad for Arkansas. They kind of gave it away at the end. And now, again, it's, oh, man, I feel bad for Coastal Carolina because their head coach got tossed in the first inning. They're kind of taking away LSU's accomplishments. It wasn't going to matter if Coastal Carolina's head coach is there for the first or the 9th inning. LSU was going to win a national championship. Too much pitching, starting pitching, to say the least. Ironton did a phenomenal job. He was spiking that slider. Coastal Carolina, that win streak was well talked about. The press conference before the series is well talked about. They didn't have a lot to like about LSU. Well, there's a lot to like now. Certainly humbled Coastal Carolina in a big way on the biggest stage. And don't take anything away from LSU. They were going to win that series regardless. And, going back to Coach Jay Johnson, I always tell my kids that there's 2 things you can control on a baseball field. That's attitude and effort. And I heard Tyler Shuck actually brought another one to the table for me in his mini-camp workout. He said, third thing you can control is your preparation. And from now on, I'm adopting that because Coach Jay Johnson prepares like no other. He really gets his guys ready for any situation. Offensively is kind of what Coach Jay Johnson talks about, his being his baby. He goes through a talk with the guys every game, the lineup, who's going to start where, who's hitting where. And he's not afraid to tinker with the lineup. And that's an unselfish group to be okay to jump from batting 2nd to batting 6th, especially when you're a returning redshirt junior, your last year of eligibility, you guy that's one of the best hitters in the country. Bats 2nd the whole season, then gets bumped at the end towards the postseason. And all Ethan Fry does is come up to a 2-hole and hit a ball 114 miles an hour in the final and really start that rally for the Tigers. So it all worked right. And when you win, there's no second guessing. And obviously there could have been a lot of second guessing with this coaching staff throughout the season, especially with that hiccup in Auburn when they got swept. And look, it all worked out. You mentioned they were all peaking at the right time. And I'm just happy for Coach Jay Johnson, a guy that I truly deserves every bit of credit that he's going to get. The fastest to 2 championships at a new school, as you mentioned. And, set up nice and pretty. Recruiting gets a whole lot easier when you have 2 national championships to show people. So excited for the future for this program.
We don't watch these games for the umpires. We don't watch them for the broadcasters. Of course, ESPN leading up to, as always, and exhibiting what the acronym means, the especially stupid programming network. Carl Ravage is an MLB guy. Eduardo Perez is an MLB guy. Kyle Peterson still has Boudreaux's butt paste from 1997 that we shipped to him after giving up home runs and losing to LSU in 97. And Chris Burke is a Tennessee guy that understands that they've got a good program but knows where LSU's at. Chris Budden, of course, did a great job. But really, not to have Ben McDonald on any of the LSU games, once again, a step especially stupid programming network. He's not a homer. I know they like to put a position player with a pitcher, but Perez and Ravage don't fit, and yet they do it every freaking year. That's what happens when you are the big boys and you call the shots. But I wasn't listening to much of the commentary because that last game, in Game 2, all you heard for 4 innings is about the Coastal Carolina coach, and it was a quick hook. It might have been a quick hook, but it was warranted. Oh, by the way, Jay Johnson, he said it in the press conference. He got tossed this year for arguing balls and strikes. You can't do it, folks. So without further ado, I'll let you comment on the broadcast and ESPN, the coverage. Oh, by the way, you may be different. I don't like the shot they have when the camera comes right into the batter.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't like that shot, and somebody keeps bringing it to. I want to see a full-fledged shot from behind or from behind the pitcher. I did not like that, and they started doing it. So I didn't give ESPN any higher grades than 7 over the weekend. But Ben not being able to call LSU was absolutely freaking believable.
Yeah, but man, I completely agree about Ben McDonald. Should have been on the call. He's one of the best they have. Knows everything about LSU, and not only LSU, college baseball. I mean, the guy's just an encyclopedia of knowledge. He knows everybody around the game. But I am happy that Ben McDonald got to sit next to Coach Skip Berman and watch that 8th championship. I know he enjoyed that. Completely agree with the ump cam. It's harder for me as a viewer to see if that's a ball or strike from his angle behind the catcher. It's a fisheye lens. I hate it. We understand it. We get it. You have the camera. You have the technology. Show it to us once, maybe in a replay, but, hey, we had enough of it to go to it, 3, 4 pop pitches every single inning. I even had a text from my camera guy, Marty, the floor director extraordinaire, saying, what are they doing? Who's in there directing? What's happening? So you weren't the only one to be thrown off by that camera angle, but no Ben McDonald. It was a travesty. It's an embarrassment of riches for LSU fans. A guy that was at LSU, he was an All-American Golden Spikes winner. Now he calls programs, comes back to do college, SEC, LSU. And as you mentioned, I don't find Ben McDonald's coverage to be a homer coverage.
No.
He talks about baseball as he played it, as he knows it, as he works professionally still to this day in it. He understands it, and I just thought it was and look, Kyle Peterson, nothing against Kyle Peterson, but, dude, you do a much better job with the Little League World Series than you do with the College World Series. That's all I'm going to say.
Let's get into the highlights first. Of course, Game 1, 6 o'clock on Saturday night. Look, everybody knows about the temperatures over in Omaha. Yeah, it got to be 100, but the humidity is appreciably different. We'll roll those highlights and get into what we have in the Game 1. And here we go, right out of the gate. What can we say about Cade Anderson? Wasn't his greatest game, had 5 walks, but he has been just unbelievable. Jay calls him the best pitcher in the country. Hard to leads the country in strikeouts. Hard not to agree with that, JP.
Yeah, certainly had the strikeout pitch working. He got that fastball located right in the middle of the game, really helped him travel to the 9th inning. Here's go LSU getting started in the bottom of the first, and this is all that they would need. Little did you know this would be the only run scored in the game, but Derek Curiel gets on second, hit in by Milam. Here's some great defense. Over sliding third base. Great job by Braswell to recover and make the tag.
Brazzy finally got a hit in his last at-bat at LSU, but did a great job defensively. Coastal Carolina plays small ball. They're going to put pressure on your defense. Thought LSU played fantastic defense. Best defensive LSU team Jay Johnson's had. Here we go with another strikeout from Cade Anderson. His mom and dad got a lot of PT. And well-deserved, JP.
Yeah, and you're going to see a lot of that, Bud, man. Obviously, this is the Cade Anderson show, 1-0 shutout in the College World Series, dealing from the left. Had 4 pitches working, Bud, man. Coastal Carolina should have been worried about Cade Anderson.
Karina, of course, jumping up and down, and, of course, all of the LSU fans having their day in Omaha. 1-0, once again, real interesting thing, JP. We got to mention their shortstop had a force out at second base with Curiel and threw to first, put him on second, and then Milam delivered. Yep. Had he gone to second, they wouldn't have scored the run. Man, the shortstop has been beneficiary to LSU after what Arkansas shortstop did in a previous game.
Yep, certainly. The middle of the infield was the lifeblood of this team for the LSU defense, and it's just fitting that the Game 2, the final, would end on a double play. Only 4 errors for both Milam and Dickinson on the season. They played phenomenally. You heard from Coach Jay Johnson after the game said Dickinson played with a broken hand. So he did a great job for LSU, a lot of toughness. Here's another strikeout for Cade Anderson. Just dominating right now, worked at a great pace, kept his pitch count pretty low, but man was able to get to 130. That wasn't the highest we've seen this year from Cade Anderson, but it's certainly an effective performance.
Yeah, had 135 earlier in a shutout, had 130 here. You didn't know if you were going to keep him in. You wanted to keep him in, and Cade Anderson once again there you see the big fan, his mom and dad on the side, and family, very, very happy. And, of course, Jake Brown comes in here to squeeze the final out as LSU wins game 1, 1-0. JP, when you flip over to the next day on Sunday, now you're playing at 1:30, and, of course, the heat was prevalent. But how about the wind? Let's give LSU defense a lot of credit. 20 mile an hour, but gusts to 35 and 40. Thought they did a fantastic job, once again, defensively judging the win.
Yeah, but, man, you could see it really pick up sometimes during the game behind a backstop. That wind was gusting all over those fans, and it was blowing. And I thought that home run ball early in the game that just squeaked over was absolutely helped by that wind straight down the baseline. But, yeah, LSU dealt with it just like Coastal Carolina did. I thought they did a good job playing load line drives. That was the approach to the game. And Coach Jay Johnson talked to it about with these guys before they got started. They talk about the weather, the sun, you name it, the pitch scouting report. So, yeah, they were very prepared, Bud, man. They were able to play small ball. You saw Dickinson get a couple bunts down. You saw Braswell get a good sacrifice. That big pitcher from Coastal Carolina barely got to. Able to win it a couple different ways, and that's something you didn't see from LSU last season. Even at 23, now that team was laden with superstars. They hit the long ball. They drove the ball to the fence. Didn't play a lot of small ball. Didn't really try to steal the bases. Not that LSU was the most aggressive team on the bases this season, but they certainly laid down more bunts. They were able to move runners around and execute the plan what they went in with.
All right, let's get into the highlights for the second game, and obviously right out of the gate, controversy. As we said, Angel Campos. We know that in the first inning, it's getting ready to come in here. If we have time, we're going to let you hear from the Carolina coach. But, JP, you're around all this stuff all the time. Did you feel like he had enough warning, and was this justified for him to get tossed, or was it an early hook, seeing the magnitude of the game?
Yeah, in my opinion, Bud, man, considering it's a World Series Conference final, I do give a little bit more leeway to a head coach. But unfortunately, you cannot argue balls and strikes, especially in the bottom of the first inning after the umpire has given you a verbal warning. You're just giving him every excuse to toss you out the game, and that's exactly what he did.
Ethan Fry hits a shot, as you said. Man, that was tough to see and definitely even harder to catch. Ties it up at 1-1. And here we go. Stanfield with a single. That drives in 2 runs, and, of course, that's the replay of the left fielder. I don't know if he could have caught that the way it was flighted anyway, but Stanfield's getting ready to come up here and knock in 2 runs, and we know that he has been fantastic, JP. I had no idea this kind of bat would come from Auburn. He's really improved. Once again, shows the ability of Jay Johnson to get the most out of your talent.
Yeah, boy, man, you mentioned it. The guy comes up in the last month. I think he had 4 different opportunities with the bases loaded and came through each and every time. So ice in his veins. Didn't try to do too much. Just base hit and scores a couple. Chris Stanfield, I mean, was the best 9-hole hitter all country. They bump up to 7. He comes up with the bases loaded. Just another example of how Coach Jay Johnson has his finger on the pulse of this team.
And, when you bring in transfer portal guys, folks, you worry about the chemistry, you worry about the fit, you worry about if they're going to embrace each other. Only 12 returning players. That means 28 new players out of the 40-man roster, and they did a great job. And I don't think anybody that's an LSU fan, player, coach will trade Derek Carrillo for any freshman in the country. Unbelievable. He's going to get in the weight room and be 5 pounds bigger next year. Everything this guy does is class, integrity, and incredible poise and production from a true freshman.
Yeah, Bud, man, can't say enough about the true freshman, how he handled himself on and off the field. The stage was never too big for Derek Carrillo. He was leadoff batter for almost the entire season as a true freshman. All he did was work good counts each and every day, not get down on himself. He did hit a little wall, I think, towards the end of the regular season, but absolutely shook it off for the postseason. It was Derek Carrillo that LSU absolutely needed him. In the field, he can run, he can curl, he can catch, he can throw, but the kid off the field is really impressive to me, Bud, man. A mature soul, a great head on his shoulders.
And how about this, folks? Derek Carrillo's dog, Bo.
Yeah.
I think it's spelled B-O, but everybody was saying B-E-A-U-X.
Right.
Got a lot of PT.
Got the Herb Street treatment.
Great family, great stories with all the families, of course. Now you got 5-1, and so now you're thinking out loud this, JP. How long is Anthony Eisen going to be able to go? And then what do you do? And, of course, we know Chase Shores came in and was just phenomenal on the backside of it. I never thought I'd see a guy like Paul Skeens to throw that many pitches over 100 miles an hour in a game.
Right, Bud, man. And it just made sense for Coach Johnson to bring in excuse me, now you got to be talking about Skeens. Bring in Chase Shores. The guy battled back from the injury. It took him a long time to get to where he's at, but absolutely had to deal with some accuracy issues, some consistency issues, but happy he was able to get the final out. I thought Casey Evans was going to get a shot to come in, but happy for Chase Shores.
There you go, double play, 4-6-3. By the way, after the game, Daniel Dickinson, it was made known by Coach Johnson, played with a broken hamate bone. That's the same one that Warren Morris had to come back in 1996 and then hit the game winner. He played through the last 10, 11 games with the broken hamate, and that's why he was laying down so many bunts. Yep. All this stuff makes sense now, but yep. JP, unbelievable. I did not see it. I thought that they peaked at the right time. They pushed all the right buttons. And, one thing about it, JP, when you're LSU and you're a baseball player, you know you've got incredible support. That fan base took over Omaha. And can you imagine Coastal Carolina? Not only did their manager get tossed and their first base coach got tossed, but that crowd got on them and sent them a message. You can call them whatever you want to call them, roosters or other names. But, look, they had a great year. But that coach was a little bit out of his league.
Yeah, let's look at it.
Yeah.
And here we go.
He gave up a total of 10 earned runs.
And so here's the pitch before on the steal. I thought this was a strike. I'm not sure what the coach from Coastal had a problem with this. Stolen base. I believe LSU's dugout was asking for a confirmation on the count, right? The 0-1-1-0, what was the call? And the umpire pops up, you'll see it, and then Coastal wants to kind of get a clarification on, what the discussion was about. Umpire pops up, gives a quick warning to both teams, which I don't mind, Bud, man. First inning of a national championship game, you have to set the tone. You're not going to tolerate arguing balls and strikes. That's just the coach telling them, hey, you're warned. And now here comes Coach Stahl. For what? For what? You've already missed 3 pitches. Now, during this time, on the close-up of the coach, the umpire actually gives him a kind of a get back to the dugout motion with his hand, and I think that's what Coach Shaw was kind of harping on in his post-game press conference.
No doubt about it. We're going to let you hear from all of that. Of course, Coach Shaw did to make fun of the umpire and his athleticism as he tripped down. But, look, in a game of that magnitude, and here's the kicker, folks. Coastal Carolina's got a saying, you own it. And he did everything but own it in the press conference after the game. Quick timeout. JP, any more comments before we go to our first break?
Well, I just can't say enough about the job that Coach Jay Johnson really did with this group. The total unselfishness. Just go back to Derek Curriell for a second. In the bottom of the 9th against that Arkansas team in the Super Regional, Derek Curriell with 1 out comes up to base, and he rolls over on the ball to first baseman. This kid is proven he's one of the best true freshmen in the country. He's playing for one of the best programs in the country, but he chooses to sprint out of the box. Okay, first baseman has to drift a little more longer than he thought. That sped him up, tried to throw the ball to the pitcher, covering first base. The pitcher had to speed up because Dariel could run. His decision to come out full sprint, full bore out the box, even though he rolled over on the ball, down by 2 in the bottom of the 9th with 1 out, really showed the character of this team. That was absolutely a choice, and that got the rally going. So you can go on and on about stories like that, but I just have to give all the credit in the world to Coach Jay Johnson, getting this group of young men to believe it is team over me, truly unselfish, and I had a blast watching them all season.
LSU, the premier baseball program in the country. Everybody knows it. Quick timeout. More from the Tigers Roar with Buddy Songy, Jonathan Poche, and our lead cameraman, Marty Campbell, on a Tuesday right here on Pelican Sports TV. Back right after this.
Move and be moved by these savings right now at Team Mazda. Choose a new 25 Mazda CX-50, Mazda CX-70, or Mazda CX-90 and get low 1.9% financing. Discover the Mazda experience and save right now at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
And we welcome you back. Very busy show. Hope everybody doing well. Don't forget, gates open tomorrow night to the box, 7 o'clock. Parade starts at 8 o'clock. JP, we got Chase Shores, Anthony Eisen, and Chris Stanfield. Any comments you want to make before we roll the tape on those three guys?
Yeah, like Coach Johnson's going to tell you in just a minute, the transfers, obviously, in Eisen and Stanfield, the transfers played a huge role in this team. But Chase Shores, the way he battled back from the injury, you forget, he was a weekend starter for that 2023 team, one of the best teams I've ever seen. So the guy that always had talent, but he worked back from the injury, worked himself back into a role where all he had to do was work on his command, and he certainly kept pressing, believed in his coaching staff. So, all the credit in the world to Chase Shores. Happy he was able to close it out, and the transfers. I mean, if you're a transfer out there, LSU baseball is the premier program in the country. There is no close second. Just look at the championships in the last 3 years, the fan support, the coaching staff, you name it. If you're a transfer out there, especially a pitcher that, there's no better spot than LSU. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, folks, you're not going to see these three players ever again in Tiger uniform. Shores has made a lot of money. Eisen is going to be a high draft pick. And, of course, Stanfield is a junior, will probably go. I guess he could come back, but wouldn't have much leverage if he was a senior. Here we go with our trio of LSU players talking to the media after the big championship win this weekend.
Yeah, means everything. Being a part of that 23 team was special, but just to play a part in this run in Omaha was, a dream come true, and I wouldn't trade it for the world, and I'm just super thankful to do it with great teammates like Chris and Anthony.
Michael Cobble, WBRZ TV in Baton Rouge for Anthony. And Chris, if you don't mind, we'll start with Anthony. The idea that you guys were battle-tested coming into this thing, right? And you've seen probably a little bit of everything. Obviously, the first inning in this one got off to a little wild, wacky start, but then you had to settle in and play ball for 8 more innings, I guess. Just speak to the resilience and kind of the understanding that this thing was a long way from being over.
Yeah, like you said, we've been tested all year. I was just waiting for adversity to hit me in the game. Right when that happened, I knew that's when I put my pedal to the metal and just push a little bit more, and just continue to fight for the team. And just I know that I got guys behind me that obviously, we just won this thing, so they're pretty good at baseball. But they just did their job behind me, so super grateful for that.
Yeah, I said, we've been tested all year. We've been through some ups and downs, and there's no one I would do it with besides this team. Like, it's been amazing. It starts at the top with Coach Johnson and the staff, and just keeping us ready and prepared day in, day out. You know, when we went down 1-0, like, that's really nothing for us because we know the whole game's ahead of us, and we got the best team.
Anthony, now that you're a national champion, what did that Little Rock win, the last one, do for your guys' confidence?
Yeah, I think we were confident before that, but I think just coming back from that game really showed us what we were about. Obviously, they played very well that weekend, and just us staying to our plan and our approach and just continuing to be ourselves really helped us out going forward.
Aaron Fitt, you in baseball. Anthony, I assume when you made the decision to come to LSU that winning a national championship was a major reason behind that decision. Now that you're here, I mean, how does this compare to maybe what you dreamed it might feel like?
Yeah, I remember hugging my parents right now with the natty hat and shirt on. When I dreamed about this place, and even on my visit, just looking at all the history on the wall, this is what I dreamed of, literally, throwing pitches, starting the game for the final game of the national championship. So just super grateful for Coach Johnson for giving me the opportunity, and thankful for God, obviously.
Hey, Glenn Gilbo, Tiger Rag. Chase, what were you thinking when you came in? You went to a tough situation there. They got close. Just how was your heart pounding? What was going through your mind?
Yeah, I was just trying to take it one pitch at a time. I just kept thinking about my teammates. Just really wanted to get the job done for them, and I feel like when you try to do something for your teammates, it kind of takes the pressure off of you, and it just allows me to go in there and focus on the job.
Jacob Brender, Baseball America. For all three of you guys, what does Coach Johnson do to bring this group together and get you guys to this point, especially with so many new faces in the building this year?
Yeah, I'll start. He's the man. Like, I say that all the time, but, like, we come in and we know, what our jobs are, and he lays it out for us and makes it very, very easy to understand. So for us to just go out there and be ourselves and play our game, like, that's what LSU is.
For sure. Yeah, I'm super thankful for Coach Johnson. I've really appreciated these past 3 years. And, like Chris said, he's the man. He outlines everything before every game and kind of just makes our job a lot easier because he, says what's going to happen before the game, and we just got to go out there and execute.
Yeah. It feels like a movie when he talks about the lineup before the game, talking about everybody's role, how they can contribute to scoring runs on the offensive side. It's fun to watch. But nobody more prepared, obviously, than Coach Johnson. He puts in so much work that none of us see, just preparing the team and preparing the coaching staff to, tackle any obstacle.
Michael Poche, KLSU Sports. Chris, talk about that 2 RBI single, giving you guys the lead, kept the lead after that. Kind of just talk about that, your thought process going up to the plate.
Yeah, I went up there with a clear mind, and like Chase said earlier, I was just trying to do it for the guys. It was 1-1 at the time, and I knew if I came through, it'd put us on top. And, it was really just getting a good pitch and putting a good swing on it, like, all year.
For Chase and Anthony, I think we can all agree Jay's the man. But how about Nate as well? The job that crew has done developing pitchers, right, and making this place a place that pitchers want to come pitch at. I guess you two can speak to it different, avenues. But what have you seen in the development in both of your games and Cade's game, that really has established LSU as maybe the place to be for pitchers?
Coach Jesse's great. He holds us to a really high standard. He always says he's coaching us for the player he thinks we're going to be rather than the player we are right now. So, yeah, just holding us to the higher standard just allows us to go out there and, just work really hard and do our job.
Yeah, just like Coach Johnson, he works day in and day out, so much time that nobody sees. Just helping the pitching staff find out who they are as pitchers, and I think that's the most important going forward, trying to figure out your identity as a pitcher, and he just does a really good job of being really transparent with everybody.
For Chris and Anthony, when you guys were in the transfer portal and Coach Johnson is giving his pitch to you guys, what did he pitch, and then how did he execute on that recruiting pitch?
Yeah, in June we were on the phone, and he told me, do you want to come play for the best program in the country? And that was a no-brainer. So, but after that, just really belief and communication's really been the biggest. Just coming here, knowing the main goal, playing at LSU, they were already 7 of them, so why not get another?
Yeah. I just remember Coach Johnson calling me. I was still waiting to wake up from my dream. I didn't really believe it until I talked to him on the phone. But he would just text me every day, sending me pictures of the pinstripe jerseys. That's why I wore them, honestly. Just telling me Friday night, carving dudes, 24. What number do you want? 24. It's yours. Just super persistent, and credit to him. He made it clear that this is the place to be.
All right, folks, giving you some tape. Hope everybody doing well on this gorgeous Tuesday afternoon. LSU posting number 8. You can say 8 is great. Whatever you want to say. We come back, pay some bills, our great sponsors here on Tigers Roar, and then come back with Jay Johnson. And maybe if we've got time, Kevin Shaw, Road Rage, and Roid Rage this weekend in Omaha. Back after this.
Tremonti's has meat, Tremonti's has seafood, Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters, huge wine and liquor selection, beer and all the spices you need, Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats, ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs, 20 flavors of sausage for the grill, daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements, and that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Right now is Tundra time at Team Toyota, where you can get 0% financing on a new 25 Tundra or get $3,000 customer cash plus $1,000 trade-in allowance. Find these savings and so much more right now at Team Toyota, I-12 at O'Neill.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
And we welcome you back. More tape to get to you. JP, got to ask you a question. Obviously, you came in here before the show. We were talking about it. Jay Johnson, already his second national championship. Of course, he played for a couple over at Arizona. What kind of, is he going to set the bar with the new Rays? You got to figure Scott Woodward is going to bring him in and bump him up over $2 million. Give me an idea or prediction on his salary, JP.
Oh, yeah, but I'm not sure he'll be the highest paid coach in college baseball, but he certainly deserves to be, in my opinion. He's definitely going to get a pay raise. Coach Brian Kelly's going to see that check probably hanging in the hallway. So it's a big year for Coach BK, too. But can't say enough about Coach Jay Johnson. The analytics, the preparation, but the relationships he's able to build with these kids. Getting the high schoolers through the draft, talking to, the kids on transfer that are juniors. You name it, Coach Jay Johnson does it while he's playing postseason baseball. He's a 24/7 guy. He sleeps it, he breathes it, he eats it. And he loves to recruit, loves relationships, and the parents all trust him and love him. So can't say enough about him. He's done a great job. Happy he's in the purple and gold.
Already has picked up a couple of transfer portal guys. They're both infielders, both left-handed hitters, and an infielder from High Point and Seth Dardar, kid that from New Orleans that was at Kansas State. Had a home run against LSU earlier in the year. Here we go, Jay Johnson talking to the media after winning for LSU number 8, and here at LSU, his number 2 national championship.
I'll do my best. unbelievable. I'm so proud right now. You know, it's not to be taken for granted. Being here 2 years ago, that was special, greatest night of my life. This is equal and maybe even tops in some ways. You know, it was probably a year ago today, we had 12 players in our program that actually played on the field for us in 2024. 12, that's not a lot. And then, as Coach Bertman would say, we ended up with some really good fortune. We had to go to work. We got the really talented freshmen through the high school draft, or through the Major League Baseball draft, and in a month's time, you know, we were able to add Chris, we were able to add Anthony, Zach Cowan, Luis Hernandez, Danny Dickinson, to those 12 guys, which were the right 12 guys. And not included in that 12 is Chase Shores. And you don't get to this podium, you don't get to this moment without a lot of things going right over a long period of time. Chase Shores is the first real dude high school player that committed to us when I accepted the job. And I think this is appropriate to have these three players here. They are exactly what this team was, which is our motto for the year was tough and together. And I've never seen a team more mentally tough and consistent. I mean, we went through probably the hardest schedule in college baseball, and we had one hiccup, one. I mean, we're, you know, a little speed bump at Auburn. But other than that, they dominated the season, and they dominated the schedule.
When you and I talked in the fall, you had a pretty good feeling about this team, particularly from an offensive standpoint. Just what are your thoughts on how this season progressed offensively? And also, I remember you saying, hey, if this Ianson guy pans out, like, we're going to be really good. And he panned out pretty good.
Yeah, he's all right. Yeah, I think it was unique. It was a new team, but I felt like I developed a really good feel for it quickly. And it was a style of player that fit maybe the totality of my career a little bit better than what we had last year. And I mean, we sent 13 dudes at pro baseball after winning the 23 national championship. And it's hard to overcome when you lose that talent. But it clicked. You know, Chris, very dynamic player, and he didn't have a great season at Auburn the year before, but I liked him. I liked how competitive he was. I liked the athlete, and we felt like we could help him get better. He did. Danny is probably the star, you know, guy that we brought in, and the person just far exceeds the player. I mean, he's so competitive. He's been playing with a broken hand since the first game of the NCAA tournament. Listen to what I just said. He broke his hamate bone in the game. He hit 2 homers in the first game of the NCAA tournament and just got 5 hits in Omaha, and we went like 10-1. I mean, if that is not toughness, I don't know what is. So massive hats off. And then guys got better. Stephen Milam got better, especially down the stretch. Jake Brown got better. Jared Jones got better. And that's what happens. I mean, we can't promise that we're going to win 2 titles in 3 years and you're going to get to play in Omaha, especially going through the SEC. But I do promise them that they will be better players. And nobody does a better job of that than our staff. And I mean, going off of Michael's question, if you're a pitcher and you don't want to come here right now, you're out to lunch. Like you're not thinking clearly, because that's 3 dudes that pitched in this series that are all going to be in the major leagues within 18 months. And the offensive side, that's kind of my baby, and I take pride in it. And it's just a nonstop effort of player development. And then as far as Anthony, you know, he kind of tricked me a little bit in the fall, but now I get it. Like he knew he was good, and he was kind of pacing himself for this run. Then we don't win the championship without him. And I mean, it got maybe overshadowed a little bit by Cade, but I think he won 12 games too. That's a lot in today's college baseball. Wins the first game of the NCAA tournament, closes out the regional final, grinds out a win in the Super, gets us off to a good start here against UCLA, and then wins the national championship game. And I could tell pretty quick today it was going to go good for him, and he deserved to be on the mound for the winner today.
Coach, right over here. When you're putting together this team and you're flying across the country, trying to do it through the transfer portal and even with the high school guys, how crazy was that? And what was your plan going in, maybe not your simplified plan, but your plan going in to try to find the right guys for you?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think I knew we had really good players coming back. It just wasn't a lot of volume. You know, I knew big man was going to get back and be healthy, and that was going to be a huge shot in the arm to the pitching staff. Might have been here 3 years in a row if he would have been healthy, you know, and never had gotten hurt. I really believe that would have been possible if you add him to, you know, what we had last year with Luke Coleman and Gage Jump. But 2 years in a row, in 23, we had 13 players drafted. That's an SEC record. Not an LSU record, an SEC record. Last year, I believe we had 8 pitchers drafted, another SEC record. That's a lot to replace over a 2-year period. And maybe it's why I'm just so proud of this thing. Like, I mean, this is a completely different team. As far as putting it together, I felt like we were a little short last year, and it wasn't by much. It wasn't by much, but it was just a little short of being able to win any type of game. And in matchup, you know, we didn't quite match up the way we needed to against, you know, Tennessee won it last year against, you know, them or maybe some of the other, you know, best teams in the country. But it wasn't by much. And I just went and did what I did to give us the opportunity to do this. And it's not like you're not trying every day of your life. It's just sometimes it doesn't work out, you know, like it's kind of funny story now, but like Nate Snead, who's like the best reliever in college baseball the last 2 years, like we eliminated Tennessee. He went on a visit to Tennessee while we were playing Florida for the championship. He was supposed to come on a visit a couple days later. Never came. He committed to Tennessee. Like, that's just how it goes. Like, I can't control being in the finals 2 of the last 3 years and losing some recruiting days. You know, like, it's just wild how it goes. But Chris, Danny, Zach Cowan, little bit of luck. We're playing Wofford. And I'm scouting Zach Cowan, going like, how did we land on this dude? This is who we're going to face in the first game of the regionals. And luckily they didn't pitch him because he'd thrown like 800 pitches in the conference tournament. But he goes in the portal, and it's like, I'm not asking Nate. I'm not asking Jamie. I'm not asking anybody. This dude is coming to LSU. And we got him. And 5 1/3 against Arkansas is the most talented team in the country this year. And we're one of the best, the first team all-SEC reliever. We just hit on the right players that were 1,000% the right people. And you have to have, you can't do it. You can't do that without all of that. And we feel very lucky and fortunate that these dudes picked us. And what a season.
We have time for one more question for Coach.
You can do a couple more. It's okay. Yeah.
I
We just won
agree.
the national championship. Aaron Fitt's like one of my best friends. He was nice to me before anybody even knew who I was in college baseball.
Good call. Coach, Kate Anderson from last year to this year, and then throughout this year, same thing with Anthony and Chase got better, and other pitchers got better as the year went on. How valuable was it to have your Nate Yeske for 2 years, the first guy you had for 2 years as pitching coach?
Yeah, he's amazing. I mean, second year at Arizona, we made it to Omaha. Second year at LSU, we won the national championship. So I mentioned like why pitchers should want to come here. Oregon State, Arizona, Texas A&M, LSU. So all you college baseball historians, find me another pitching coach that's gone to Omaha with 4 different programs. Now double national championship, Oregon State and LSU. And big leaguers and All-Americans and all that. Nate is the best pitching coach in college baseball. And we've led the country in strikeouts 2 years in a row. I mean, I think it really speaks for itself. And I'm proud of him. He's a friend and loyal, hardworking, and he's really good at what he does. And if you're a pitcher out there, high school or portal, you should want to come pitch here, largely because of Nate Yeske. And then Jamie Tetko is our director of pitching development and analytics and has helped take this thing to a new level as well. So we got it all. We got it all. And I'm just really proud of that side of the ball. We had to elevate the talent in the LSU baseball program on the mound when I took over here, and we have, and we've executed it, developing them as good as I ever would have dreamed of or imagined.
One of the things Jay Johnson does as well as anybody in the country, probably better than most people, identifying pitching talent. They're looking at a Rutgers pitcher. Trust me, you're going to see transfer portal guys coming in here for visits, and you'll see some guys being added to this team as we go forth further into the summer. Quick timeout, and we're going to get you some spicy talk from the Coastal Carolina coach when we return on a weekly Tuesday edition, taping here on June 24th with Tigers Roar celebrating LSU with national championship number 8 in baseball. Back right after this.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats, the flavor says it all.
And I apologize, folks. I know it gave LSU an edge, but I did feed Coastal Carolina some of that Manda's spicy sausage, and once you consume it, you get a little bit of an attitude. JP, let's go through it real quick. Here's who LSU is losing, folks. Curiel is going to move from left to center field. Obviously, we know that Stanfield will probably go pro. Got both right fielders back in Jake Brown and Ashton Larston. Braswell at third is gone. Obviously, Milam's back at shortstop. Daniel Dickinson at second base is gone. Jared Jones at first base is gone. Luis Hernandez at catcher is gone. And we know the highlight of the pitching staff, Kate Anderson, Anthony Eisen, Chase Shores, and Zach Cowan. Those guys are gone. JP, do you have confidence that LSU and Jay Johnson will be able to stock the cupboard because he does it as well as anybody once again, doesn't he?
I certainly do, and recruiting certainly gets a lot easier when you have 2 championships in 3 years. So, yeah, you pick up guys transfer portal. You got to work these freshmen coming in, and I have complete faith in Jay Johnson and Coach Nate Yeske to develop the pitching that's already in the building. So, Casey Evans is going to have a great season next year. You bring back Newt. You bring back Schmitty. It's not an empty cover, to say the least. Stephen Mom's going to be right in the heart of that lineup again, playing shortstop. So, yeah, plenty of confidence LSU can reload and again, compete for Omaha next year.
Devin Sheeran is an excellent pitcher. He got a serious injury, didn't pitch this year. Look for him to come back. We'll talk about that 2 weeks from we come back with another Tigers Roar. We give you a spicy coach after the game on Sunday afternoon.
The 28th pitch of the first inning. Were you warned prior to it? And then I know the home plate umpire kind of turned his back and walked away. Were any words shared from him to you afterwards?
There's 25,000 people there, and I vaguely hear a warning issued. As the head coach, I was an assistant for 24 years, and as an assistant, you're almost treated like a second-level citizen, and you can't say a word. Now, as a head coach, I think it is your right to get an explanation of why we got warned. And I'm 48 years old. I shouldn't get shooed by another grown man, right? So when I come out to ask what the warning is, a grown man shooed me. So at that point, I can now hear him say, it was a warning issued for arguing balls and strikes. And at that point, I said, because you missed 3. At that point, ejected. If that warrants an ejection, I'm the first one to stand here like a man and apologize. 2 words that define our program are own it. And what does that mean is you have to own everything that you do without blame, without defending yourself, without excuses. If you guys watched the video, there was a guy that came in extremely aggressively, tripped over Campos's foot, embarrassed in front of 25,000, immediately goes 2-game suspension and said, bumping the umpire. Immediately does that. There was no bump. He was embarrassed. I shouldn't be held accountable for a grown man's athleticism. They'll retract it, though, because now it's excessive. And the reason why it's excessive, because I was trying to say, I didn't bump him.
Well, I think it's quite ironic when you talk about the MO of your program is own it, and Kevin Shaw did not own it. Unfortunate to him, he got tossed. JP, in the grand scheme of things, I do think it's a quick hook. Jay Johnson said in his postgame, I got tossed for balls and strike. I also think this guy had a reputation. He got sideways with Kevin O'Sullivan in the regional. The umpires know about his reputation. Everybody knows that the umpiring it leaves a lot to be desired. But in this particular case, you just can't act that way and stay in. And it's sad that it's kind of taken off the glimmer and the great event that happened because of this has put a little bit of an asterisk by it, JP.
Yeah, but, man, they spent 3 minutes talking about it during the broadcast. So, yeah, you hate that happens because that's just an excuse for Coastal Carolina fans to say, well, if our coach wouldn't have had been kicked out, we would have won. No, LSU was going to win the game. It just takes away from their win a little bit, but not in my eyes at all. I thought the hook. Look, you got warned twice by the umpire. It's the first inning, and you're coming out to a dugout chirping about balls and strikes. So yeah, I think it was warranted. Maybe give him a little more leeway in the national championship as the head coach, but look, you got what you deserve. You need to own it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Jeff Head was scheduled to call balls and strikes. I don't know if they took him off because he was in the way at first base on the first game, but Angel Campos was in the MLB years ago, and it's hard to get great umpires because you get new guys and they get called up for the minor leagues or the major leagues. Then you get some older guys. That all being said, nice to be on this side of the fence with umpiring. Everybody enjoy your afternoon. Don't forget about the celebration tomorrow night out at the box, and also don't forget to stay hydrated. Don't leave your kids or your animals in hot cars or whatever. Be cognizant of the surroundings that we have. It is South Louisiana in the summer. Celebrate those Tigers. Once again, appreciate all of our great sponsors, and we'll be back here in a couple weeks. JP and I will be talking about football. We've got new numbers. We've got new players. We've got new ideas. Are they going to do it? Are they going to follow up and make the playoffs? Talk to you in 2 weeks right here on Pelican Sports Radio with Tigers Roar.